Welcome back. Joining us in studio is Anthony Gucciardi. And Anthony, I wanted to talk to you, especially with all this information that came out with the Germanwings pilot. As we looked into this, he was suffering from depression. What he did looked like what someone on SSRIs would do. And I was surprised to find that back in 2010, the FAA, even though they banned all sedatives, all tranquilizers, all other psychiatric drugs, they made an exception for SSRIs. Isn't that interesting? It pays to have lobbyists, doesn't it?
Of course, exactly. They made an exception for their best clients.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at this, it goes back to just a few days ago, I was looking at the top 10 best-selling pharmaceutical drugs. Pretty much all of them are either SSRIs, antidepressants, antipsychotics, or boosters for these types of drugs. So right now, if we're going to look at the top-selling psychiatric drugs, and this is from Mental Health Daily, from July 2013 to June 2014. So just in that time frame, number one is Abilify, and that's at $7.2 billion just in that time frame.
Wow.
And Abilify, here's the craziest thing about that. It can be used as an antipsychotic by itself, but it's really what's known as a booster drug. So what happens is you give someone like Prozac and then also Abilify.
Oh,
and that's to boost the effects.
It's kind of like an adjuvant, you know, in the vaccines where you stick in the aluminum to heighten the...
and it has off-label effects and uses and stuff like that. But this is now like boosting the suicide-linked Prozac. And if you remember back in 2004, it was a Harvard professor that came out and said that people were being treated like guinea pigs when they were given the Prozac. And it wasn't until then. It turns out in 1980, Eli Lilly and Company, which produces Prozac, knew the direct link to enhanced depression and further suicide.
Yeah.
So this is now
boosting. It makes what you're being treated for, makes it even worse.
Yes. And then we have Cymbalta at $2.8 billion, Lyrica at $2.7 billion. The list goes on and on. Billions and billions and billions and billions. It's now a $30+ billion per year industry. And those are all fake numbers anyway. We know it's much, much higher.
And of course, every other ad that you see on television, on Fox News, CNN, all the major networks, cable news, every other ad is some kind of a drug ad.
Right. And now, I mean, statistically, pretty much 1 out of 4 people that you see on the street are on these. So that's why when that plane went down, I figured in my head, sure, he probably is on SSRIs, right? Because everyone is. And the sad thing is there's not enough research showing the correlations between people killing themselves, people having ruined lives, because there's no statistic to say Joseph Smith, there's some random guy, for example, he takes an SSRI and then his life is ruined. He has extreme depression for the rest of his life, and you know his relationships are ruined. That's not as drastic as he killed himself.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
but they do know. They do know that it has very drastic side effects.
Oh, of course.
And when people want to get off of it because of the side effects, things like sexual dysfunction, other things like that, the situation that they had, this particular pilot was having problems with his girlfriend, they said, if he wants to get off of that, they have what they call discontinuation syndrome. And of course, the FAA recognizes that and said, okay, you can take the SSRIs, but if you change the dosage in any way whatsoever, you're grounded for 6 months. Is he going to call them up and say, well, I just changed my dosage. I want to get off of this stuff because I'm having problems. They're going to ground him. So of course, he's going to do it quietly. Perhaps it has this kind of an effect.
No, I mean, let's be clear. When I was very young, my parents took me to the doctor and they gave me a really early form of some of these drugs. For ADD, of course, you know. And I felt like a zombie, and my parents immediately realized this is really bad. This is bad news. And I told the doctor all this. They don't actually try to get you off of it. They treat the symptoms. They say, well, you feel fatigue? We can give you something for that.
We can give you something else.
Erectile dysfunction? Take some Viagra. There's nothing wrong with that. It's $50 a pill. We'll make plenty of money on it. And then just to go over some of these side effects for Ritalin, for example, here, this is from drugs.com, which is the official source for all the real side effects that happen. You know, we have some chest pain, fever, skin rash, terrible bathroom issues, dryness, flaking of the skin, abdominal pain, tiredness, weight loss, yellow skin, tingling pain, slurring of speech, loss of coordination, sores, ulcers, white spots on the lips, severe headaches, unable to see, red and swollen and scaly skin, pale skin, hives, welts, confusion, depression, painful or difficult urination, loss of appetite, nervousness, the list goes on. I mean, it's just absurd. And then we have an article right next to it here. Drug labels contain 70 negative side effects on average. This is a report based on a live science study. 70 negative side effects on average. But what they don't tell you is that it can go up to 525 different negative known reactions. in
What
this
about
study.
that first do no harm thing that was supposed to be part of medical ethics?
Yeah, how about 525 side effects per drug?
Well, you're talking about Ritalin, and we homeschooled our kids. And when we traveled in those circles, a lot of people had taken their kids out of school because of Ritalin, because it was being pushed on their kids. They were mandating that they have to take Ritalin. And they understood how dangerous that was. They understood that they were building a drug dependency on their kids with a drug that was very similar in many respects to cocaine.
Well, they probably also understood that 90% of school shootings are linked up with psych meds. And this is from Jerome Corsi, who was on the show today, Dr. Jerome Corsi on WorldNet Daily. Psych meds linked to 90% of school shootings.
Wow.
And that is totally official. He goes through the whole list. It's probably 100% in some way. But at least 90% of school shootings are linked up directly with psych meds. And that's just school shootings.
So is that why you've got this this new product that we've got, Child Ease? Is that something that's supposed to help with ADHD?
Well, the whole thing is this, we cannot say this is to replace any drug. You have to talk to your doctor, talk to your physician. I personally would never take any SSRIs, personally. And the whole thing about Infowars Life is all these products were created with reality in mind. Right? We have the survival shield or super male, for example. All these were created with issues that we know to exist. And, we know what we can and can't say on air. You know what the products, do for you. And the reviews are all up there. Hundreds of reviews just for super male in the first couple weeks that we put them up. But I'm really excited about Child Ease. Now, specifically, as the label says, supports calm, focused attention. We choose what we say on these labels very, very carefully because of the different guidelines of what we can and can't say. And we are boldly stating supports calm, focused attention. And this was created with the known herbs and key compounds that have been traditionally used for centuries and centuries in different cultures around the world, because we wanted it to be safe. It's really, really important, I think, that parents understand what they're taking and giving to their kids. Number one, tastes good, and number two is completely safe. So we took formulas made up by top herbologists and already sold for 20 years by one of the major leading organic-based distributors that works with Whole Foods and everything like that to get rid of the GMOs and the Monsanto garbage and actually give good organic-based products. And secondly, we wanted to make sure that it doesn't taste like crap. Because if you can imagine, you have kids,
right? And
you can imagine being a kid, remember trying to take some medicine that your mother gave you or whatever, this tastes like garbage. This has no sugar in it.
Wow.
It's actually naturally sweet thanks to the fruit extracts and everything in there. It has chamomile, which is known to be soothing. This has been used. This formula is based on actual formulas that have been used for centuries by different cultures traditionally to calm down their children.
I think there's something, a lot of people initially are reluctant to try something. Well, it just looks like it's herbs or something. That can't nearly be as good as something that comes from the pharmaceutical companies because that's concentrated and isolated. I know we went through that initially. They try a product, they see that it works, and it's like, wow, there's something to this. Just because it's been around for a long time, maybe that says that it's very effective. We're talking about chamomile. I mean, we just saw that report not long ago about this ancient remedy that they found in Scotland or whatever. Anyway, these historians put this thing together and they found, hey, look, that kills MRSA, which they're struggling with the antibiotics.
Yeah.
It's going wild in hospitals. And so it's like,
cure.
maybe there's something to this stuff. Maybe that's why it hung around for so long.
Right, and what you're talking about is the medieval time home remedy. And they took garlic, and I believe it was garlic, onion, and bile from the stomach of a cow or something, right?
Yeah.
And it killed MRSA superbugs.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it actually did that, I believe, in my analysis, has nothing to do with the cow bile. It might actually mess with the compounds. It's the garlic.
Yeah.
We've known forever that garlic kills superbugs.
Right.
It's just so funny they happened to study this old ancient cure, which combines different compounds, sulfur-based compounds, which are known to kill superbugs, and say it's some 500-plus-year-old cure or whatever. It's the garlic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we can use these things and put it in these products. That's why we're so happy about Infowars Life. And go on there, go on InfowarsLife.com, read the reviews. This is real stuff. Just like Child Ease is real. It's 100% real, and that's why we're so passionate about it and can sit here on air and talk about it and know all of this that we do know and know all of the things like olive oil killing cancer cells in less than 1 hour in a Petri dish. Have you heard about that one?
No.
That was 2 months ago. They found that olive oil in a Petri dish killed cancer cells.
Really?
I'm not talking about reduced, killed it completely.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I know we've tried some of these things, especially on our dog. We had a situation, I won't go into all the detail about it, but the thing I like about it is the fact that we can offer stuff that we know helps people's health. It helps you to get healthy. It helps you to stay healthy, helps you to fight the toxins, even though we're fighting an info war to try to get the toxins out of the water, out of the food supply. There's still this lag that happens as people have to come around to it, as pressure has to build on these manufacturers to actually take this stuff out. So you have to be able to do something for your family, for yourself in the meantime while this is happening. And it's great that we can fund the operation. It's the principal way that we fund the operation, as well as something we can offer people. I think Alex said, what was it? Not a win-win, but a 360 win. Was that what he came up with?
Yes, exactly. It's a 360 win because you're funding an operation that you support. You're funding us getting the word out with hundreds of thousands of free articles that you can read every single day that are never charged for. You're also getting a good product, and I would try it yourself. I mean, I've taken it. It's great. I would try it yourself. If you want to give it to your kids, try it before you give it to your kids. You'll like the taste. They'll like the taste. And if you like it or if you don't like it, leave a review. Check out what other people are saying on InfowarsLife.com. So, I mean, we're excited about it. I would encourage everyone to check out InfowarsLife.com and check out Childies, definitely, because we actually are going to sell out probably within this week. And due to this, it is what you would call a reserve batch from this company. It is a proprietary formula that's been sold for the last 20 years and known to be completely safe and has all the best certifications and everything like that. But we have pretty much the best batch of that we decided to get away from the main line. And we don't know when we're going to get more of that. This is actually true. We do not know when it will sell out, most likely within the next week. So I would encourage everyone to try it now and see if you like it.
Great. All right. Thanks.
My name is Alex Jones. Most of you know me from my syndicated radio program and my documentary films, as well as Infowars Nightly News. When I got on air 20 years ago, I had discovered the globalist program, their plan to take over the world, and my focus went from running 6 miles every other day, swimming 2-3 miles a couple times a week, and lifting weights, to focusing on fighting the globalist. I've gone from 279 pounds all the way down to 235 pounds, and the weight's going off even faster. And it wasn't just that my weight loss accelerated. My muscle mass increased. My stamina, my energy levels exploded. Super Male has the key concentrated natural compounds that my body needed to go to the next level. Today is the day to take the InfowarsLife.com challenge and to secure your bottle of Super Male or Super Female Vitality. Check them out today at InfowarsLife.com or give our crew a call at 888-253-3139.
Welcome back. Joining us in studio is Anthony Gucciardi. And Anthony, I wanted to talk to you, especially with all this information that came out with the Germanwings pilot. As we looked into this, psychiatric drugs, they made an exception for SSRIs. Isn't that interesting? It pays to have lobbyists, doesn't it?
Of course, exactly. They made an exception for their best clients.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at this, it goes back to just a few days ago, I was looking at the top 10 best-selling pharmaceutical drugs. Pretty much all. He was suffering from depression. What he did looked like what someone on SSRIs would do. And I was surprised to find that back in 2010, the FAA, even though they banned all sedatives, all tranquilizers, all other psychiatric time frame, number one is Abilify, and that's at $7.2 billion just in that time frame.
Wow.
And Abilify, here's the craziest thing about that. It can be used as an antipsychotic by itself, but it's really what's known as a booster drug. All of them are either SSRIs, antidepressants, antipsychotics, or boosters for these types of drugs. So right now, if we're going to look at the top-selling psychiatric drugs, and this is from Mental Health Daily, from July 2013 to June 2014. So just in that